Indigenous hands towards we fling you the void, drown in your brain, making you insane. Rapping no Benjamin full fur, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Captain Mark Richards, a secret space program drifter, getting married while in prison, making you listen, create a new religion, doing the reptilian, making you forget my sins. Super soldier talks in prison, Nordic and Draco, shape shifting in my Winnebago. Indigenous instincts weaving you the void, drown in your brain, making you insane. Rapping the Benjamin forward, living the absurd like a blue aviator, keeping the lines rapping like Benjamin forward, living the absurd like a blue aviator, keeping the lines blurred. Rapping like Benjamin Fulford. Word. Extraterrestrial hybridized DNA. Don't need to worry about tooth decay. Kevin Spacey and his clone are feeling alone. Men who stare at goats. The Vril Society road. Super Soldier Sunday, just another fun day. 75 years on Mars, lying about the stars. Captain Richard charms like Charles Manson's gun. Liars in the sun. Liars in the sun. Monsters in the sun. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's jam. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's jam.
All right. Good morning. It is 11:04 a.m. and today is Sunday, November 23rd. And this is just a little preview. I did of Super Soldier Sunday. I'm doing a Super Soldier Sunday investigation to Fiona Apple. Not Fiona Apple, but Fiona Barnett. Shadow Boxer. All right. Anyway, I'm doing an investigation into Fiona Barnett, saying that she's a super soldier and she's also a satanic ritual abuse survivor that came on the scene in Australia back in, I don't know, maybe it started in 2017. That's when I started to notice about her. Then also David Shurter. There's a particular video that I watched where they came on together and they talked about their special abilities. And David Shurter also just recently did a video about how somebody gave him some information that he might have been in this, Air Force trained thing. David Shurter talks about how he was sexually assaulted, under satanic ritual abuse. And one of those people that were in control of him was Colonel Michael Aquino, who David Shurter says is now still alive, even though he has died. Now, for those of you who might be novice, and I'm sure the people that tune in right now know exactly who Michael Aquino is. because that you guys are, a lot of you are interested in this particular topic, and it comes underneath the banner of the Super Soldier program. Max Spears talked about Michael Aquino. James Casbolt talked about Michael Aquino, and basically Michael Aquino is in the folklore of the Super Soldier program, basically. Now, the Super Soldier, technically the Super Soldier program, Super Soldier is a actual phrase. It's been coined by Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot. There is no such thing as anything known as a super soldier. I am a super soldier. There's no such thing as a super soldier. Not in the real military. Not in the military as we know it. All right. And apparently this military is like a global military run by the elite. So it has to do with all these different conspiracies and involves, extraterrestrials, like what Simon Park says. Let's go through a list of people that are considered to be, I off the top of my head, what you would call like to be super soldiers, or they claim to be super soldiers. All right, so let's go with Max Spears never wanted to be called a super soldier. He did not like the title, but he did go underneath that banner. We have James Casbolt, who also is known as like a super soldier. Both were on, Carrie Cassidy's show, and they've also both been on Miles Johnston's show. Let's go with Holly Baglio. I've interviewed her. She claims to be a super soldier. Nate Gray also claims to be a super soldier. James Rink has made an entire online business about the Super Soldier program. Lorian Fenton, who was part of Revolution Radio, put together, these conferences that a lot of them went on. Stephen D. Kelly claims to be a super soldier. So there's this whole thing about it. And I find it interesting that now you have people that not only came on the scene to out satanic ritual abuse and said that they are victims of satanic ritual abuse, but at the same time they have all these special abilities and and they're able to do things in the psychic realm. Oh, I forgot to mention Sarah Rachel Adams. Let's throw her in there. She's now a multi-dimensional life coach that gives synthetic mushrooms to Steve Harvey's family, and they almost OD over it. Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of scamming and danger, really, to other people that certain people in this community are associated with. Let's throw Mr. Blue Avian, Corey Good, in the mix of being part of the folklore. Captain Mark Richards, names that are in this songs, the two songs that I played for you, have become very much a part of a belief system that involves extraterrestrials, trafficking of children, satanic ritual abuse, the elite, and everything like that. So, it's like, it's like, how do you think we should believe someone like David Shurter, or even Fiona Barnett? I don't know why when I call her Apple. Fiona Barnett or David Shurter. Why should we actually believe what they have to say when they throw this super soldier stuff on top of it? I mean, don't you think that maybe you should just here's my problem about believing their allegations of being, satanic ritual abuse survivors, is that they go into this other super soldier area on top of that, which really can't be validated either. Because really what you have is you have personalities, you have online influencers. I hate to put David as an influencer, but he has been put up on certain shows to talk about what happened to him. And he went through the gamut of hosts like Revolution Radio. Ed Opperman interviewed David Shurter. Ed Opperman is familiar with David Shurter, and also certain other individuals that I've had some interaction with, like Penny LaShepherd and David Zuplik from Awake Now. And here's, David wears his Stranger Things t-shirt, which is basically originally that script was called Montauk. And who knows? Maybe Stranger Things are, showing things about our reality in a fictional sense. Maybe they're showing things, about our reality in a fictional sense that is real. I mean, there is that theory. Also there are people that have written sci-fi, and the sci-fi is somewhat prophetic, like Octavia Butler, or like Philip Dick. I mean, we're pretty close to the Minority Report right now. Like, we're getting into certain areas that are, like, is the Matrix actually really happening right now with AI? We don't know. We don't know where technology is going. It could spin out of control. We don't know. Really, totally. And that's why, the topic is interesting. AI is interesting to me on all kinds of different levels. As a matter of fact, I write about artificial intelligence being brought into academia at Fresno State for the Collegian as a senior reporter. And I've posted several articles about it where I've done some deep research into AI, interviewed people, interviewed professors, gone to events and covered it where, I saw a robotic dog get up on its hind, legs at, the IT Technology Expo. So, when David sits, like, because he did today, he's on his channel and he's saying, oh, you got a degree at a junior college, 2 years, big deal. You think you know stuff. Well, no, David, that's not what happened. Just to clarify, because David is telling people things that aren't factual. I graduated from Fresno State University. I was a transfer student because I had done most of my, what they call the Golden Four, and then also a lot of my undergraduate classes culminating from, 1981. When I went back, I changed my major that I had originally, and I changed it to journalism. I took more classes and got all that stuff ready so that I could transfer and finish up at Fresno State and get my degree from a university. I got my bachelor's, not my associate. And by the way, David Shurter, and anybody else who wants to criticize me, I graduated magna cum laude with a 3.77 grade point average. And on top of that, I submitted 2 essays to get into the creative nonfiction MFA program, of which hundreds of people applied, and they only took 10. And I am one of those people that is a graduate, getting my graduate in creative nonfiction writing. So if anyone wants to know where my time has been spent in my life, it's been that. While all these rumors are circulating that I'm grooming children and teenagers and whatever, because we're going to show today. See, David Shurter, by the way, who is part of the subject of what's going to happen this afternoon. David Shurter, who uses Max Spears in his diatribe, tells people that he's psychopumping on the other side, tells people he's a shaman, threatens like deviation on them. He's got witchcraft skills. God has ordained him to do this. He sits on his channel today and says, oh, people are going to be investigating you, Terry, because of what you're saying. Don't think that you're not being they're not watching your YouTube videos. Yeah, I hope they do. David says, I'm not afraid of them investigating me. I'm not afraid of anybody investigating me. All the way through. Because I know that I don't traffic children. I never had a barely legal studio. I never did a video with minors. I never did any type of CP. I didn't traffic my moderator's children. And where is the pinnacle of what's behind this? Well, that's an onion to peel, really. But we do know that there is an individual that his name gets mentioned over and over and over again. And even David Shurter is going to say his name again. today. And that name is Thomas Schoenberger. And I have proved that Thomas Schoenberger communicates with David Shurter as recent as last night about what I live streamed yesterday. So David Shurter is really angry, and he has said some really foul things. And so I'm going to give a trigger warning, or let you guys know that it's going to be some very graphic, very crude language, lots of degrading insults about me in a way that is, wow, shouldn't be allowed on YouTube. And so I'm letting you know that if you're not ready to hear those kind of words from David Shurter, because I'm going to refrain as much as I can not to be swearing myself. But for journalistic purposes and documentation, I am showing David Shurter in his authenticity. All right. And with that, I will be right back. Let's get this party started.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no crown, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. Spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole.
All right, welcome back. And before we start, I want to share you Penniless Shepherd, who is another person that David Shurter is aligned with, and has interviewed him several times, and was also part of Famalam, which is no longer exists anymore. But she was part of Famalam. I've gotten that confirmed by Geo Farnsworth. And, she claims to be Agent 11. Like this is her whole thing. This is right here, her Instagram. And she writes, MK Ultra, Real 11 in Stranger Things, Hollywood dark journalist, Agent X11, executive producer for Awake Nation. Sorry, that's That's the name of their podcast with David Zublik. And Dark Outpost at Shepherd Out. So this is her deal. She has no way of corroborating that she actually really is a little girl in Agent 11. I've had contact with her way back in 2018. She tried to tell me that I was also really one of the characters in Stranger Things. And I believe David has said that he is, she said that he is too. I'm sure. I believe I heard him say that. If not, I wouldn't be surprised if she hasn't told him something like that. And this, because David Zublik is a 17th letter of the alphabet channel and has pushed it and was part of, a while back. I just found that footage about this as well recently. I should show that again. But Simon Parks and this guy, was it Charlie? Not Charlie Ward. This other guy that claimed to be CIA, and a woman named Mel Cole. They would just pop up on these YouTube channels that were formerly Indian or Asian cooking channels that had like 300K subscribers. All of a sudden it would change with like Simon Park's picture on it. And this guy was a part of that. Right? Okay, and before we do start, did I show you that? Did I show you her I don't know. I hope I did. Yeah, I did. All right, so let's go to Purdue University's I want to go through logical fallacies again. And when I play David Shurter today, I want to go through these and I want you to think about where David is doing a logical fallacy in his stream today, okay? So logical fallacies are common errors in reasoning that will undermine the logic of your argument. Fallacies can be either illegitimate arguments or irrelevant points and are often identified because they lack evidence that supports their claim. Avoid these common fallacies in your own arguments and watch for them in the arguments of others. So here's the different ones, right? Slippery slope. This is a conclusion based on the premise that if A happens, then eventually through a series of small steps through B, C, and X, Y, Z will happen too, basically equating A and Z. So if we don't want two to occur, A must not be allowed to occur either. Example, if we ban Hummers because they are bad for the environment, eventually the government will ban all cars, so we should not ban Hummers. In this example, the author is equating banning Hummers with banning all cars, which is not the same thing. Hasty generalization. This is a conclusion based on insufficient or biased evidence. In other words, you are rushing to a conclusion before you have all of the relevant facts. Example, even though it's only the first day, I can tell this is going to be a boring course. In this example, the author is basing the evaluation of the entire course on only the first day, which is notoriously boring and full of housekeeping tasks for most courses. To make a fair and reasonable evaluation, the author must attend not one, but several classes, and possibly even examine the textbook, talk to the professor, or talk to others who have previously finished the course in order to have a sufficient evidence to base a conclusion on. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. This is a conclusion that assumes that if A occurred after B, then B must have caused A. Example, I drank bottled water and now I'm sick, so the water must have made me sick. In this example, the author assumes that if one event chronologically follows another, the first event must have caused the second. But the illness could have been caused by the burrito the night before, or a flu bug that had been working on the body for days, or a chemical spill across the campus. There is no reason without some evidence to assume the water caused the person to be sick. Genetic fallacy. This conclusion is based on an argument that the origins of a person, idea, institute, or theory determine its character, nature, or worth. Example, the Volkswagen Beetle is an evil car because it was originally designed by Hitler's army. In this example, the author is equating the character of a car with the character of people who built the car. However, the two are not inherently related. Begging the claim, the conclusion that the writer should prove is validated within the claim. Example, filthy and polluting coal should be banned. Arguing that coal pollutes the earth and thus should be banned would be logical, but the very conclusion should be proved that coal causes enough pollution to warrant banning its use is already assumed in the claim by referring to it as filthy and polluting. Circular argument. This restates the argument rather than actually proving it. Example, George Bush is a good communicator because he speaks effectively. In this example, the conclusion that Bush is a good communicator and the evidence used to prove it, he speaks effectively, are basically the same idea. Specific evidence, such as using everyday language, breaking down complex problems, or illustrating his points with humorous stories, would be needed to prove either half of the sentence. Either or. This is a conclusion that oversimplifies the argument by reducing it to only two sides or choices. Example, we can either stop using cars or destroy the earth. In this example, the two choices are present as the only options, yet the author ignores a range of choices in between, such as developing cleaner technology, car sharing systems for necessities and emergencies, or better community planning to discourage daily driving. Ad hominem. This is an attack on the character of a person rather than his or her opinions or arguments. Example, Greenpeace's strategies aren't effective because they are all dirty, lazy hippies. In this example, the author doesn't even name particular strategies Greenpeace has suggested, much less evaluate these strategies on their merits. Instead, the author attacks the characters of the individuals in the group. Ad populum, bandwagon appeal. This is an appeal that presents what must people or a group of people think in order to persuade one to think the same way. Getting on the bandwagon is one such instance of ad populum appeal. Example, if you were a true American, you would support the rights of people to choose whatever vehicle they want. In this example, the author equates being a true American, a concept that people want to be associated with, particularly in a time of war, with allowing people to buy any vehicle they want, even though there's no inherent connection between the two. Red herring. This is a diversionary tactic that avoids the key issues, often by avoiding opposing arguments rather than addressing them. Example, the level of mercury in seafood may be unsafe, but what will fishers do to support their families? In this example, the author switches the discussion away from the safety of the food and talks about an economic issue, the livelihood of those catching fish. Well, while one issue may affect the other, it does not mean we should ignore possible safety issues because of possible economic consequences to a few individuals. Straw man. This move oversimplifies an opponent's viewpoint and then attacks that hollow argument. People who don't support the proposed state minimum wage increase hate the poor. In this example, the author attributes the worst possible motive to an opponent's position. In reality, however, the opposition probably has more complex and sympathetic arguments to support their point. By not addressing those arguments, the author is not treating the opposition with respect or refuting their position. Moral equivalence. This fallacy compares minor misdeeds with major atrocities, suggesting that both are equally immoral. That parking attendant who gave me a ticket is as bad as Hitler. In this example, this author is comparing the relatively harmless actions of a person doing their job with the horrific actions of Hitler. This comparison is unfair and inaccurate. Okay? So I hope I didn't absolutely go, oh, I want to roll my eyes in the back of my head because, you know, she just read like the entire list of logical fallacies from Purdue Owl University. But, I wanted to just say this, let you know it's time for us to get educated on how some of these people on YouTube are manipulating a narrative. And let's look at the tactics that they use. And I'm going to take one more break and we'll be right back.
It's a hashtag feud, the tension brews, opinions clash like unstoppable views. A digital brink where patience shatters with each post and each fiery scatter. Just retweets, clashes and echoes of grins. They say that the pen is mightier than the sword. Well, mine's a keyboard. So go to war if that's what makes you feel alive. I'll take it personally, but won't take it offline. It's like a drug, it's poison in my mind. My thumb is the trigger, and I've got you in my sights. And if it's all part of God's plan, I'd like to have a word with him. I'm not a fan, so take me to war. I hope it makes you feel alive. I'll take it personally, but won't take it offline.
All right. Welcome back to Not My Rabbit Hole. All right. So we're going to go to David Shurter's video. And then I also really quick want to pull up my own community post because I'm going to show you some receipts today that I did discover yesterday about David's post. Okay. And his conversation, his post on his blog about his receipts that he had about the arrest of Michael Christopher Butler. And I guess we're going to punch some holes in David's narrative. And by the way, I'm giving you a warning that there's a lot of awful things that he says and a lot of foul language is going to happen. So I'm just giving you that warning. Okay. So let's do fair use and take a look at David Shurter this morning. It's titled David Shurter Live, No Weapons Training, No Combat Training. So how am I a super soldier, Terry Joyce? Well, here's the thing about the whole super soldier program. It's not really about weapons and combat physically. It's about what's going on in the mind and what's happening psychically. They're psychic soldiers that have remote viewing capabilities, right? And so his argument is really lame. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Duncan O'Finian, who prefers to be called, if I can remember right, a CIA augmented admin, meaning that he also claimed to have chips put into him by the government. What the super soldier program is loosely based on, as they call it, is there really was a infantry, there was a military, sect of the military. There's a movie that stars Jeff Bridges called The Men Who Stare at Goats. And it's a true story about how they use psychic people in that type of warfare or dealing with the military or dealing with things that were happening in the world that they maybe wanted to end with more peaceful means rather than using guns. That's kind of the premise of the movie. And it stars Ewan McGregor. If you can rent it on YouTube, I suggest you do it. And that is kind of where this happens. This is also mentioned in American Psyop, which was done by Emily Bix, who happens to be on Thomas Schoenberger's lawsuit, basically, or her name was mentioned in it. I don't know if she's been subpoenaed or they're going to do something about it, but she also wrote, I believe, that article. Oh God, it's either the Financial Times thing with Jim Stewart or and Steve Hassan, or maybe it might be the heavy.com article. But she is, someone that Thomas Schoenberger has on his list, by the way, she's a journalist. And in American Psyop, she interviewed Wesley Clark Jr., whose dad was running for president at one time, and he got involved as an activist in Standing Rock. And he was a regular on Young Turks. And it's very fascinating. It's hard to find all of it right now. But one of the episodes talks about Jim Channon, who was part of this military for the men who stare at goats. That, it's Jeff Bridges' character that it's based on him, Jim Channon. And then also who else comes into play is Sean Stone, Oliver Stone's son, which ironically, there's a crossover between him and Sarah Rachel Adams. They had an affair. That's part of, I think, the separation between Max and Sarah. I know I'm dwindling into certain areas, but right before Max passed, he had made some Facebook posts about Michael Aquino mentioning or giving a thank you to Oliver Stone in his book, Mind Wars. I believe, if I can remember right, one of his books, I believe it was that book. And he brought up Michael Aquino in relation to Oliver Stone at that time. So I'm just giving some background here. And, guess who else brings Michael Aquino into his narrative? Oh, and Christina Joanna Hart also, who was a regular on Douglas Dietrich's show on Revolution Radio, because I was right before his show on a Saturday night. And, Christina Joanna Hart came out on his show, and he claims to be Michael Aquino's he claims to be Michael Aquino's librarian. And by the way, Michael Aquino was very much a part in the folklore of putting together the shows with and I don't know if it's true or not, but, there were, talks that Michael Aquino was in the process with Lorien Fenton at that time, putting these super soldier programs together. I don't know if that's really true or not. But so when we were talking about David's association to a super soldier program, which we're going to go into more detail, he smacks of he has all these earmarks in his grift, in his diatribe, in his made up imagination of what he thinks actually is real, is because he does not prove what he says. And how do you prove all of that, really? So much. See, the problem for me with Fiona Barnett and David Shurter is they have so much in their stories that how could that possibly have happened to one person is one question that I have. It's too much.
People want to give scriptures and do recipes. Leave a comment in this if you want to do it. Otherwise, I have things I can do today rather than here.
Okay, so he opens with this in the beginning because today apparently he's doing a live stream. He's doing his fun live stream where he's taking ideas, with recipes and scriptures, and we're gonna all have a bunch of fun. And so now he's saying, basically saying, well, if you don't send me anything, then I'm not even gonna bother because I just really have a lot to get done. So the fun day probably isn't going to be happening. I would be hard. Let's see if somebody's watching this, and that because I said that it probably won't be happening. Let's see if he actually makes it happen. Here's a recipe idea for you and a scripture, David, that I'd like to send you. I'd like to send you my taco recipe. And the scripture that I'm quoting actually it's part of the 10 Commandments, is thou shalt not bear false witness. I'd like you to take, if you're willing, I'll send you my recipe. And, you can read the scripture I'm sending. Thou shalt not bear false witness, David Shurter. And here we go.
Terry Joyce is getting ready to do a thing saying that I and Fiona Barnett called ourselves super soldiers. Fiona calls herself a super soldier. I don't have any weapons training whatsoever. I have no combat training whatsoever.
So let me ask you, do you guys think James Rink has had weapon training and combat training, or did Max Spears ever say that he had weapon training and combat training? David, has Sarah Rachel Adams, does she have weapon training and combat training? David, did Fiona ever say that she had weapon training or combat training? It's really not part of the super soldier narrative. It's counter that narrative.
How the fuck am I a super soldier? I got none of that training. But then Terry Joyce.
Yeah, but you said you had training under like Michael Aquino, and Michael Aquino is part of the narrative, right? But we're going to go deeper in this, David.
Running around saying that I made up this whole thing about Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Chad Butler's little brother, Mike, getting arrested.
I didn't say that he wasn't arrested, David. I didn't say you made up that he was arrested. What I said is that you did like those logical fallacies that I'm talking about, and you made a story that didn't really fit to what the facts were. That's what I said. And I'm going to show you my process. I'm going to show you guys my process today after yesterday, because he still wants to argue about this. David misrepresented the information on his blog. It was a doctored screenshot. It wasn't exactly correct, David. And somebody sent it to you. And I'm really curious about who that person is. Who's feeding you, David, to go on your show, your live stream, and use that as evidence to continue to berate and defame Thomas Schoenberger's targets? I'd really like to know. I really like to know who's emailing you that information. Is it Thomas or is it somebody else?
That's all made up by me. So I guess when you type in Shelby County, Iowa arrests, and the sheriff's thing comes up with the names of the people that they've arrested in the last week, and Mike Butler being on there, I guess I did that.
Yeah, I did it too. Yeah, I did it too, David. We're going to take a look at it right now. We're going to take a look at the differences between what you posted and what's actually on the site. Okay? Let's take a look at it. Here it is. Hopefully you see that. This is what you can really find on the site. And there are several things listed here, right? LASC acts of child body parts, PCS use in structure or vehicle. So there was drug use in a vehicle or evidence of drugs, which is highly likely that it was marijuana. This is what he got busted for. And it looks like he had warrants going back to 2019 or definitely 2014. Doesn't say what county it is, but it's saying that he was picked up on a warrant. And then he was charged a couple more things. Okay. Sell scheduled drugs to minor, sexual abuse to third. Okay. So he has abuse to minors. This guy has charges against him. And it looks like, this is what it looks like to me, is that he has a warrant for these things. But he was found on this. So we're going to go through it a little bit more. This is what David Shurter shows on his blog. All of this other stuff is missing. Okay. All of it's, look, from there to there. And in my video from last night, the last one I made about this, I showed this in real time how I found this. I show the website in my video. And I also go to David's and show what's on his blog. And this is what's posted on his blog. Somebody omitted a whole bunch of evidence here. Okay. Now let's look at this. This is the court case, or the count of his original charges. As you can see, this one was in October of 2024. It's drug distribution violation to the person underage. 815, sexual abuse, third degree. This is 2024. Sex abuse, 2024, same day. Drug distribution, same day in a year ago. Drug distribution violation, same thing. This was in 2019, lascivious acts. And then you get to the day that he was taken in for the warrant and then also cited for some more violations. These ones are marijuana charges and controlled substances in his vehicle. And that's an aggravated misdemeanor. And that is a serious misdemeanor. Now, yesterday, when I did my first video, and by the way, the purpose of that video wasn't to prove that the arrest was real. And I was really specific about that in the first video. I got part 1, 2, and 3 because it's a whole process of discovery. Because I report on AI, because I'm curious about what ChatGPT can come up with, I asked ChatGPT, could you send me where these links are? Because I was looking to find where that website was. Like, can you validate that this guy was arrested? ChatGPT said, no, I cannot. But what I can do, because I gave him the link to David Shurter's blog, and so what I can do is I can look at the screenshot that he posted and give you the metadata information, which would include whether there were nominee. I read it out, what ChatGPT says. All these different things that would give it a red flag that it was not authentic, that the post was not authentic. What this post here, that David Shurter did, originates from Facebook. And as you can see, ChatGPT was correct. It was doctored. There was something being omitted. It wasn't from the original source. So somebody emailed or contacted David, or somebody that's connected to David sent him a doctored screenshot off of Facebook. This matters. See, this matters because David twists stories. Think about what logical fallacy I just read from Purdue Owl University, and think about what this applies and what the deception of this is. I'm not standing up for him for his charges. I'm not trying to defend Michael Butler. I'm questioning David's version of what this is and how it applies to someone like me that he thinks that he can keep spreading lies about, telling people that let's just here. You're going to get a big example of things that he's saying about me.
And Thomas won't stop emailing me, even though I keep telling him, dude, I won't even fuck you with Doug Mesner's dick.
Okay, so really crude. And why are you accepting emails from Thomas Schoenberger at this point if he's such an enemy to you, and that you're using that fact to come after me like you always do? See, this is the pattern with David Shurter. If Thomas didn't email him, he'd have no material. And because Thomas emails him, he's going to rationalize that I'm with him because of that, because he's so sure to email David every time I live stream. That has nothing to do with me. That has something to do with Thomas Schoenberger, who is acting, and I would say, I believe, is a cyber stalker. Coming into my personal life. Like how Carrie Wolf explains in the video Operation Unaliven.
I have no interest. But he's all focused on Terry Joyce. Fuck, Terry Joyce posted something yesterday about how,
Yeah, he's focused on me because he's not winning this argument. It is evident of what Thomas Schoenberger and a bunch of other people are doing to me with him, which includes you, David, which means I have a lawsuit. And if I sued Thomas Schoenberger, I can also add you to that lawsuit, David, because you are perpetuating his defamation of me online. Doesn't matter how you get the information or what your reason is, but there's also proof of a trail of money being sent to you. And Thomas Schoenberger can say whatever reason he did that for over and over and over again. That doesn't matter what he says his excuse is, because you all have excuses. So what do you think even a court's going to believe, David, or a judge about a restraining order or anything, a no contact letter, David? Do you think that they're going to believe me, who never accepted a dime from Thomas Schoenberger, or you, who takes his emails every day and whips me on the internet? What do you think is going to sound more credible? There is no barely legal in Las Vegas, David. That's line number big time 1. And who said that? Thomas Schoenberger. And whose mouth did it come out of again? Yours. Over and over and over again.
That thing about Mike Butler is a lie. Like that dumbass hag.
Calling me a hag. I never said it was a lie, David. I said you gave out fake information about it. You were deceptive. There's a difference, David.
Who lives in Fresno, California.
Thank you for doxing me on your channel. Thank you. Let everybody know where I live. Make sure he says it more than once.
Knows what's going on in Harlan, Iowa.
It's called the internet, David. It's easy to find information. It's easy to double check things. AI is more advanced than you think it is. Too bad for you guys.
Make any sense? But she had to post something, then Thomas had to send it right to me. You know? I keep telling Thomas, dude, I will never fuck you. But I'm sure that Terry Joyce, being a porn actress, has a fucking strap-on dildo. And she's more masculine than most men I know. So there you go. She can.
Okay, so I'm a hag. I'm a porn actress, which I'm not. And I'm more masculine than most guys he knows. That is a defeminization of me, which is a power tactic by a misogynist man. In a nutshell, this is a tactic that certain men who don't feel powerful do to a woman who has a voice. You have to knock me down. Thomas Schoenberger did it recently. Chris McKenzie Jones has done it. Lisa Lake has done it. Who's another woman, which I really don't understand that kind of hate for another woman. Unless somebody's paying you, right?
Strap on that fucking dildo and fuck you in the ass till your heart's content. You both seem to want it. You know? If that is not the most disgusting...
But that is not the most disgusting thing for you to say in the morning, David. I don't know what. It's foul. What is that on the logical fallacy list? Oh, that's ad hominem. Big time. That's ad hominem. You have to insult my character and my gender and my femininity to try to validate your argument, David.
Disgusting image for this Sunday. I don't know what is. But I didn't make up anything about Mike Butler. But I find it just endearing that a bunch of...
Yes, you did. You said he was arrested for meth and that it was involved with a meth operation with Captain Chad Butler and his, and your sheriff, Neil Gross, in Harlan, Iowa. You made up a whole meth trafficking story. See, what logical fallacy was this? If A is B, then B, and then C, and then D, and whatever, because I said it was.
Child traffickers want to run to Mike Butler's support. He just sold meth to kids.
I'm not supporting Mike Butler. I'm calling out about your misinformation about what may be really going on with Mike Butler and what his arrest was and what the narrative is. That's the point of Not My Rabbit Hole.
And fuck those kids. What's the big deal, right? You know? Right?
Oh, Thomas, make sure to email David this. I'd really like him to see it. I want to know, like, if he'll show my recipe, my taco recipe, and my scripture of thou shalt not bear false witness. Make sure to email him, Thomas, right away, pronto. Stop watching and email him, please. Whatever fake account you have, make sure you contact him, okay?
And they can say whatever the fuck they want about my numbers on here. I know they can fuck with my numbers. But I'm getting thousands of people on my blog a day right now because people are looking into this. People in town knew about Mike Butler before I ever did. The reason why I found out about...
According to you, you can't validate what you say because nobody else in your town is there to attribute that fact, according to us, the viewer. Okay? Bandwagon logical fallacy. Everybody knows.
It is because so many people told me about it.
Bandwagon fallacy. So many people told me about it. Therefore, what I say is valid.
It's not fake. It's not a lie. And the fact that these child traffickers are trying to assure you that it is, you need to ask yourselves why. Why are they so invested in that? How the fuck would they know?
Because we're tired of you lying about us. And when you lie about us, you can hurt our livelihood. You could hurt my efforts to graduate magna cum laude at Fresno State. You can hurt my future. That's why we're interested, David, because you're lying and you will pay for this. Trust me.
Anyway. But fuck, Thomas, go after Tara Joyce. I'm sure she has a strap-on dildo, and I'm sure if you gave her a quarter, she'd fuck you with it. She seems to do anything for a quarter. Fuck. You might even be able to...
And yeah, I've never accepted a dime from him, David. What do you do for a quarter? What will you do for a quarter, David? This? How do you supplement your income, David? This?
Talk her into a nickel. Just saying. Babe.
Wow, that is really awful. It's really awful. It's really, really degrading. And it's wrong. And this video should be removed from YouTube. It should.
I'm not a super soldier. I don't know the first.
That's right. You're not. You're not a super soldier, David, but you claim to be one. You claim to be a shaman. You claim that God has your back. You tell people that you journey with information about me and other people. You're a liar, David.
Fucking thing about guns. Doesn't a soldier have to know about guns?
No, a super soldier has to know about psychic abilities. You know, the whole thing about the goat thing is that there was a study at Stanford University where someone with psychic abilities stopped a goat's heart and it died. That's what the military wants to know. That's what they were working with. What our mind can do, not what a gun does, David.
I don't know the first fucking thing about combat training. Does it a soldier have to know about I guess none of that shit matters.
But you tell people that you do stuff to them in the other dimensions, the astral plane, your abilities, your training from Michael Aquino, who's part of the super soldier folklore, David.
But what I bet they do know is the very last thing I said to Fiona, the very last thing I've said to her is I told her to go fuck herself.
Oh, did you? Oh, did you? But you talk about how you communicate with her. You praise her. You put her on you use her daily as affirmation to who you are. But now you told her to go F herself? Isn't that interesting how quick he is to like disassociate himself from something?
And I bet they know that.
No, didn't know it. They? Who's they? You're they. But that again is a they-them argument. That group, this group, they, the bad group.
I mean, they laugh all the time that they have cameras and fucking microphones in my house. You know?
No, I don't. I don't do any of that. They. Who are you talking about? Me, right?
I'm sure they know that.
If you have cameras, why don't you use the footage, David, in your arguments about the person in your house that took pictures? I mean, don't you have footage of that? You're not technically savvy enough. I bet David isn't technically savvy enough to alter images. Somebody did that for him. Who is it?
The problem with most survivors is they never leave the group. They are so desperate to get back what was taken from us as kids that they'll sell themselves to that group to try and get what they took away from them back. That's how it works. And I have no interest. No interest at all. Let me point out something.
So saying that she was a super soldier is her way of selling herself back to that group? What?
Fiona Barnett spoke at the Ivory Garden Trauma Conference in Seattle. She was in Algona. She was in Tacoma. She was in Seattle. She never once got a hold of me. We have never once stood face to face.
Yeah, but you said that you both were abused at Bohemian Grove together as children. So how is it that you've never seen her from face to face if you were abused along with her, David? Oh, yes, you have said that. Quit pointing your finger because it doesn't make you look more truthful, David.
She was in my town. She was at Felicity's house. She was, 8 blocks away from me? And we've never laid eyes on each other.
Bullshit. Yeah, I believe maybe you haven't laid eyes on each other. You've been on the same shows together. Yeah. But you said you were children being sexually molested at Bohemian Grove together, David.
Not physically. In person. I mean, we've talked on the phone, but never once, you know? Never once. I've never once been able to look her in the eye in real life. Because she never bothered to get a hold of me when she was in town speaking at that conference. And yet we're supposed to be such good friends. See how that works?
Yeah, you're a fucking liar. Sorry.
But regardless.
But
Mike Butler did get arrested for selling meth to kids. And the kids around here.
The arrests don't say what he was arrested for, David. You know what? If there was a meth bust in Harlan, Iowa, and I looked for it yesterday, maybe it's going to show up. Why isn't the news covering this? I mean, it's a small town, right? That's big news. I mean, if it happened in Fresno, somebody would be writing an article about it.
All know about Mike Butler, and they all know that he's a meth dealer that sells to minors.
Again, bandwagon logical fallacy. They all know, everybody in town all knows about what I'm saying. Therefore, it validates what I'm saying to you. But we don't see these people.
You just had someone post an underage girl posted herself getting drunk and partying with another one of the sheriff's deputies. That was also a doctored image that we've talked about. You can't see who it is. You can't. Another Facebook, I think, post that someone sent David Shurter. Who's doing that for David? At that party. But maybe that's all fake too. Maybe Daniel Dowd did that one too. Daniel Dowd broke into the Shelby County, Iowa sheriff and added Mike Butler. I didn't even know the dude fucking existed until a day or two ago when I found out.
He added where? The county sheriff added Mike Butler? Where? Where did he add Mike Butler from the county sheriff? Chad Butler? What?
That he got arrested. And Thomas and Terry Joyce worked together.
Really? No, we do not, David. We do not work together. But you accept his emails all the time. And you're talking about it right now on your channel because of his email. You communicate with Thomas Schoenberger, not me. I got the man blocked everywhere.
Joyce posts something, and the minute after she's posted it, Thomas is sending it to me. They all work in league with
Thomas. Do you must be like waiting for everything I say. Are you composing AI music or what?
Each other. You know, they're all in league. They're all about this child trafficking bullshit. And if you're all okay with the child trafficking, then go fuck yourselves. Stay with them.
See, again, that is a call. Like, you know, if you're all okay with it, then go screw yourself. Like, it's either or logical fallacy. Either or. Either you're this or you're that. And if you are, you can go F yourself.
I'm not the one. You know, I'm not the one. If you're okay with fucking pedophiles.
See, again, either or. Either you believe what I say about Terry Joyce, or you can go F yourself. Because she's a pedo. That's what you're saying, David. That's a logical fallacy.
You don't want to be around me because I'm not going to be nice to you. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't want you around me, David. Matter of fact, I want a restraining order on you. That's what I want. I want you nowhere near me, David.
I don't know if Isaac Cappy was a ritual sacrifice. I know they fucking murdered him because they were on top of that. And who was he working with? Fiona Barnett on all of that shit. Fiona Barnett, that's who he was working with. Look at
Boy, he doesn't want to be associated with her right now.
who ended up dead.
I mean, just a while ago, like there was a fake Fiona Barnett account that came into my stream, and then I did a show about it, and then I made a comment about it, and then David ran out and said, they said that they had information on David Shurter to contact them, but it was fake. And then David bragged about how close he was to her to convince people that, that was, I was talking to, I was lying about his relationship to Fiona Barnett. That just happened this year, David.
And who's still alive? Because I wasn't working with Isaac. After he told me that he was harassing Michael Aquino with 4 of Michael Aquino's phone numbers, I didn't want anything to do with Isaac. And Fiona wasn't going to convince me otherwise. He was murdered. And the same motherfuckers behind...
He committed suicide, David. That's the official story. Now, he might have been convinced by like dark players, like Operation Unaliven, that they may have helped tip him over to that. But he committed suicide, David.
Isaac Cappy murdering him and all of that are the same motherfuckers that are around me right now. The same group that fucking bragged about murdering my friend Owen, who fucking make videos of me being lynched.
That's made up. There's no proof.
And my house burning.
Somebody making videos about your house burning down has nothing to do, does not validate it. This is slippery slope. If A is B, is C, is D, then definitely A is true. No, David, it's not.
Down. Bragging about how they're stealing shit out of my house. I didn't even know about the fucking Dell laptop until they bragged that they stole it.
And a lot of red herring is going on. Well, that's happening, but it's really about this. This is, blah, 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 blah. He diverts to another issue or a person.
Hanging fucking flyers all over town, doxing me with my picture in a color thing. That stuff had to cost some money.
Yeah, who's doing that? Not me. I don't have any association to that. Don't lump me in that, David. I'm in Fresno. I have nothing to do with that.
Falsely calling me a pedophile, hoping people would show up at my house and hurt me. That's this group.
But you did sexually assault your nephews when you were younger. You're the only person that's actually harmed somebody. If it's between me and you, I've never done that. I've never hurt a child. I never sexually molested anybody. But you have. You admitted it yourself. That does mean something. And then you verbally abuse them and assault them on your YouTube channel as adults. You have zero remorse. Zero accountability for your actions.
Motherfucking group that's telling you Mike Butler didn't go to jail. It's all a lie.
I never said that. He did go to jail. He was out like 2 hours later on a warrant. What happened? There was no bail. He's probably been transferred to another, wherever he had his offense in. That's what happens.
It's all a lie. I bet they took a lot of them off.
See, I bet they took a lot of them off. No, they didn't take a lot of them off. You, whoever sent you what they did, took a lot of them off on your fake Facebook post on your blog. That's still up.
Because people were reporting them. People in town were reporting them. Those videos were freaking people in town out. They didn't help themselves. And Gio can laugh about, oh, he only has 5 people, because I only have 5 people in here. Motherfucker, I think I had 16,000 people on my blog yesterday. You can fuck with the numbers here. What? You mean you're not gonna dox me, or you're not gonna send a bunch of bots into my channel? Because first it's you send a bunch of bots. Now it's I don't have anybody. All I know is that you motherfuckers are obsessed with me. You watch everything I fucking do. If I was a liar or crazy, there wouldn't be a reason for that. Just saying. Wouldn't work that way. But they're fucking obsessed with me. They are obsessed with me. And what I said about Mike Butler is true. They're fucking.
No, it's not. It's not true. You fabricated stuff with real information. You twisted it to fit your abuse on your channel of me and other people. For Thomas Schoenberger.
Snitch just murdered his ex-girlfriend in July and got arrested. Now Mike Butler, and they're gonna want to know, where did Mike Butler get his drugs? Chances are he got him from his older brother, Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Chad Butler, who is the courier who's running the fucking meth from the trailer park. Everyone in town knows it. I'm sure that Tara Joyce, living in Fresno, California, has a much more...
Again, saying where I live at. Thank you, David. Thank you for telling whoever's following you that believes you, that probably isn't really screwed on right. Thank you for telling them where I live at, David.
Grasp of what's going on in Harlan, Iowa than anybody here in Harlan. I bet she does. You know? Oh, it's downloaded. It's downloaded. The shit is sent out. It's downloaded. Screenshots. They know. People in town know. You know? The whole thing about it is that they're going to want to know where Mike Butler got his drugs and why he was fucking kids and no one did anything.
And so what were the drugs specifically? Because the charges don't say that happened, in 2024. Huh? What were, we can't tell other than your version. What were the drugs, David?
Harlan is a town that has 4,000 people in it. It's not like we're a fucking metropolis like Chicago. Fuck, we're not even close to Omaha. Everybody knows everything here. No one is going to be convinced that Chad Butler didn't know that his brother was fucking kids or selling drugs. You know?
Maybe Chad Butler did know, but he didn't know where he was. I seriously doubt that they had this information that he was walking around because they caught him on a warrant. And he's arrested by the sheriff's station that Captain Chad Butler works for. Explain that. Why would he arrest his brother right now if he was part of it? See, you're not making sense, David.
The whole town knows I'm right. The whole town knows. That's the reason why when he got arrested, so many people got a hold of me. So many people.
Oh, really? Yeah, so many people. I'm sure you're you're accusing your neighbors of doing things to your dog and everything. I'm sure they love you.
Told me, oh my God, have you heard what's, because they know. This is a town of 4,000 people. Fuck, most people know the color of your shit before you flush it down the stool in the morning. Just saying. But I'm sure that Tara Joyce, living in Fresno, California, has much more of a
Again, mentioning where I live at. Again, that's a third time that he had to say it.
grasp She knows more about what's going on in Harlan, Iowa than anyone in Harlan, Iowa does.
More than what you're saying. You're a liar, David.
Tara, Thomas wants you
Well, your argument still doesn't show any proof.
to put your strap-on dildo on. He wants you to
Okay, so now we go back to ad hominem.
fuck him in the ass, because I'm not going to fuck him. I wouldn't fuck him with Doug Mesner's dick. And that's saying something, you know? That's saying something.
You really shouldn't be talking about people's dicks on YouTube, David. It's not a good look.
Old bullshit just gets to be exasperating. Just gets to be tiring. But I never said I was a fucking super soldier. No arms training, no combat training. How the fuck am I a soldier? Isn't that kind of a prerequisite for being a soldier?
We're going to go into this. That's coming up, David.
And I don't say the shit that Fiona does. You know? I stand on my own. I'm not responsible for anybody else. I stand by what I've said and the things I've done. Everyone else, they're on their own. They're responsible for their own shit, including these fucking child traffickers. But the question is, why was it so important that Tara Joyce convinced everybody that Mike Butler wasn't arrested and it was all fake?
I did not say that he wasn't arrested. I never said that, David. That is inaccurate.
Why did Thomas have to run with it? Because you can, again, Shelby County, Iowa.
Yeah, we've shown it. You know what your problem is, David, is that you should actually watch my shows and not listen to Thomas Schoenberger before you go on and you do a live stream. Just like you should not just accept Facebook screenshots of information about somebody being arrested. Why didn't you go? You didn't take the screenshot from that website and prove it. You accepted somebody else's stuff and you passed it on as being what is, and it wasn't. You didn't go, you didn't check it out. You didn't go to the site. You took it from probably an anonymous sock puppet account of somebody that wants to screw with you so that you could be motivated to come after me and a bunch of other people.
Press. That's all you have to type in. Takes you right to the
You didn't type it and take a screenshot, David, because if you had, you would have put up the correct graphic on your blog. But you didn't, David.
Fucking sheriff's website. Shows you who's been arrested in the last 7 days.
Yeah, we did that yesterday. Video number part 3. No, video number part 2. 3, I compared the two screenshots.
Mike Butler's on there. You can go check out.
Yeah, he is on there. But not how you showed it. So stop pointing your finger to try to convince people that you're fucking legitimate, David.
Link. It's not like I didn't post screenshots of it. But the dude who's selling drugs to fucking kids and fucking kids.
Yeah, but that's not what he was arrested for on 11/20/25. Why was the rest of it omitted from your screenshot, David?
Those are the ones that Terry Joyce and Thomas Schoenberger and the lot of them are.
What I showed and what I found has nothing to do with Thomas Schoenberger. Nothing.
Running trying to protect. That's who they're trying to protect. LON. HARLON, not EN. I have been taken to all of my training at Offutt Air Force Base.
But he did a video about training off of Edwards Air Force Base. So he's talking about being training. He's all over the place, everybody.
You know, they accuse me of everything. They
But you're
accuse me
saying that you're trained from Edwards Air Force Base, David.
of everything. Who gives a fuck?
No, I do. I do. Because you contradict yourself.
Who gives a fuck? A bunch of goddamn child traffickers fucking accusing me of shit.
Ad hominem. Right there. Assassinate the character because I have no argument.
I'm not a fucking pedophile. I didn't molest my
Yes, you did molest your nephews.
fucking nephews. I don't rape my dogs. I don't beat my dogs. I didn't get arrested. I'm not a felon for a shot-off shotgun.
You have numerous restraining orders, David. Numerous. You had an arrest for soliciting an officer in a park.
All this shit is all the shit that they've said.
Or a charge. I don't know what the conviction was, but we've seen it.
A fucking bit of it is the truth. Not a one word of it is the truth. Not one word. But they're all fucking child traffickers who are all involved with a bunch of fucking murdered people.
Yeah? Where's your evidence? Do you have evidence? Have you ever presented any valid evidence of your claims, David Shurter? How about some evidence other than what Thomas Schoenberger emails you?
That's what I'm saying. And that's easily ascertained. But you're right. Those fucking pedophiles are so much more superior than I am. You know? I'm not being investigated, and if they do investigate me, so fucking what? You think if there isn't something out there that Gabe Hoffman or my stepmother, Joanne Shurter, or Thomas Schoenberger wouldn't have found out already? Doug Mesner, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, has been at me for over a fucking decade. But it's still investigating. Uh-huh. I don't know anything about Tara Joyce. Other than...
Oh, that's right. You don't know anything about me, David. That's right. That is a fact. You've never bothered to find out anything about me or hear my side of the story. Ever. I attempted it because I knew I was tipped off by Arturo Tafoya that you were coming after me, that it was a plan that you would come after me, and you have ever since.
The fact that she needs to strap on her goddamn dildo because Thomas needs it in the ass, something fierce.
Ad hominem again, and degrading me as a woman. Disgusting, David. What a low blow. How low do you not have an argument?
And they're in love with each other. They're obsessed with each other. He says,
No, I can't stand Thomas Schoenberg. I'll tell you that right now. I do not like the man. And I'm suing you, Thomas. I'll see you in court.
me her shit all the time. Because I don't look at her shit. I don't care. I have them blocked. Don't give a shit.
If you don't look at my shit, why are you talking about it? Because of Thomas Schoenberger? You didn't even take the time to go over what I really said or I really presented. Because I can't be bothered with someone like Terry Joyce. She doesn't really affect me, but you keep talking about me. You're telling me to put a strap on and bang Thomas Schoenberger in his cornhole repeatedly over and over and over again today, but you don't bother to see anything that I have to say. I think you're really worried about what I have to say, David.
Don't give a shit what they have to say about anything. You know?
Then if you don't, why don't you just go on with your life and do your stupid little give me a scripture and and a recipe show because we're gonna have fun, or make some fucking bags or something that you ended up buying too much thread for with Joanne Fabrics that you had to like bum and go and ask for donations because you didn't have food to eat after you were gonna make these bags to sell.
Don't give a shit. And they're all in here, you know? Rogue 1776, LOL. Fucking dumbass.
Why do you even let those people why do you let those people bother you? Huh?
What, you think all of your little insinuation bullshit is gonna fucking save your asses? Really?
What about
That's
you?
what you
You think what you're doing is going to save your ass, David? Because it's not. It's not.
think? I'm not mad because you looked you up. Dude, you're one of them. Okay, let's play a game. What am I being investigated for, dickhead? If I'm still being investigated and you looked me up, what are they saying I'm getting in?
What trolls say to people? You're being investigated. This is another person who is antagonizing the argument, like what Carrie Wolf explains in Operation Unaliven, how she was paid to go in. I don't know if she's mentioned that, but she's mentioned how she was paid to go in and cause drama in people's chats room. Somebody's there to provoke him into something else. They want this from him.
Investigated. What's the evidence, dude? There's a lot of evidence on you. What's the evidence? Go ahead. I haven't blocked you. Give us the evidence. I'd love to see it. Show us.
I'd love to see your evidence, David. Show us. Let's bring it. Let's go return to you. Okay? 3 times. Show us the evidence, David. Back to you. You show me some evidence, real evidence.
Don't just talk about it. Don't just insinuate it. Fucking show. What the fuck?
That's right. Listen to your own words and take action. Put it back on yourself. Because we're waiting for the evidence, David, and you don't have it. And when you don't have it, guess what a lawsuit is? Defamation. David, I don't care if you're on disability and you're living in a house and you need to pay your taxes. I don't give a shit about your problem.
What evidence? And then you think your little fucking memes are gonna cut it. Because you can't answer the fucking question, dumbass. You're a piece of shit. You say all kinds, you all this vague shit that you can't prove. You know?
That's you, David. You can't prove what you're saying. And you give misinformation and you mislead people with what you say. Big time.
There is no way to post a meme here, dude. Post links. But actually, I'm not going to argue with you this whole time. So now he wants to post a meme. Let me put an insultive meme on. That'll prove what I'm saying about you. Let me put a meme on there. What a dumbass. Again, links. If they're fucking investigating me, let everyone know what for.
Oh, we've shown a lot of links, David. You're just ignoring them.
But there's never any specifics. It's just all this vague shit.
No, that's you, David. You're vague.
Want to know what they're investigating Mike Butler for? The shit that got him arrested. Selling drugs to kids and fucking kids. That's what he got arrested for.
Not on 11/20/2025. Those are prior warrants. David, someplace else.
Daniel Dowd, what did he get arrested for? Fucking kids. What did
No. See, again, vague, not explaining.
Geo Farnsworth has a fucking rap sheet. Go look at his stuff.
So do you, David. You have a rap sheet. Guess who doesn't have a rap sheet? That would be me.
Easily defined.
Traffic violations I've had, yes, but not a rap sheet, not criminal, not nothing. Yeah, I had to be, when I tutored at Fresno City, I had to be fingerprinted and had to have my background check in order for me to even tutor. David, I've worked for the Census Bureau, same thing. FBI, all of it. They have my fingerprints already. I'm still standing here. Going to school, doing my thing, writing articles for the Collegian.
Not talking vague. I'm giving specifics. Specifics. And the dude who actually fucked kids and was selling them drugs are the very ones these fucking pedophiles are defending.
I've worked for the federal government, David. Oh no, it's going to be a government conspiracy because I was a Census Bureau. I worked for the census.
Terry Joyce is convinced that it's a lie.
No, your narrative is inaccurate because you're a liar, David. You twist things to fit your agenda.
Thomas Schoenberger just sent me, oh, Daniel Dowd's fucking with you. It's all a lie. Uh-huh. Who are they defending? The cop's little brother who just got fucking busted selling drugs to kids and fucking kids.
He didn't just get busted for that. He has been charged with it a year ago and maybe even, going all the way back to 2019. He got busted for marijuana, David. And he had warrants. That's why you were seeing it on the site, which you omitted from your version.
That's who they're defending. And how do I...
I'm not defending him. I'm calling you out for being inaccurate.
know? You can go read the arrest warrant. It's not like it is.
And we showed it on Not My Rabbit Hole, and we showed it today on Not My Rabbit Hole.
Isn't fucking public. They all protect each other and they all work in league with each other. The fact is that shit is going down in Harlan and everyone here knows it. And it doesn't make any difference what little sing-songy Tara Joyce, I'm a little 6-year-old. I'm going to talk like a little 6-year-old. Her dumbass. What, she went and got an investigative thing at a community college. What, she went to school for 2 years? Now she knows everything there is.
No, I did not get an investigative thing at a community college. I got a degree in digital journalism from Fresno State University, David. And I graduated magna cum laude. And I'm a graduate student in the MFA program for creative nonfiction writing. And I am a senior reporter for the Collegian. And my beat is artificial intelligence. And I've run, I don't know, I think I have 10 articles right now, plus an opinion piece in the last few months. That's who I am, David. So don't be telling people that I got some sort of investigative degree from City College like a fucking liar. You don't, I can prove it. I've taken a picture and shown a screenshot of my graduation certificate, David. I am not going to sit here and have you call me a porn star and degrade my character because you can't validate or corroborate your bullshit to people on YouTube. And yeah, this is a lawsuit. This is defamation. I'm not going to let it go. And it's on. And I'll be back on today at 4 p.m. to go further into Fiona Burnett and David Shurter claiming that they are super soldiers with special fucking abilities. I'll see you later.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no clown, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the love, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the love, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that